and welcome to Reliving My Youth. My name is Noel. My guest this week is Nigel Dick. Nigel's one of the most successful music video directors of all time. He's directed over 450 videos. I'm sure you've seen at least one. Britney Spears' Hit Me Baby One More Time, Oops, I Did It Again, Oasis' Wonderwall, Champagne Supernova, Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine, Welcome to the Jungle, Paradise City, my favorite band, Tears for Fears, Shout, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Head Over Heels. He's worked with Cher, Paul McCartney, Ozzy Osbourne, Barry Manilow. The list goes on. And he also directed Band-Aid's Do They Know It's Christmas. He's going to share his stories in his upcoming memoir, music video Mischief, which comes out September 15th. He shares some stories with me today. Really enjoyed my conversation with Nigel, and if you do as well, please rate and review the show. I would really appreciate it. Here's Nigel. So Nigel, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. So what are you up to these days?
I'm quite busy at the moment, actually. As you can see, I'm wearing a sweatshirt which has The Central on it.
Right.
I'm doing a documentary about this club called The Central in Seattle, which was opened its doors in 1892 and eventually became the hub for what we now call the grunge movement. Alice in Chains and Soundgarden had their management offices upstairs, and they played the gig many times. Nirvana may or may not have played a gig, their first major gig there, depending on who you speak with.
Right.
And yeah, it's got an extraordinary history. So I'm doing that. And I've also written a book which is coming out in September. And so I'm just involved in picking the pictures and doing all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Right. When you write a book, I'm sure obviously it's about your life and career. When you were going through all these amazing, jobs you've had, did you actually have a journal to write this stuff down, or is this everything by memory?
Um, I used to keep a journal many years ago, but I did not go back to it. Well, I don't know if how many years of it I kept. Um, Mainly, I've kept a fairly good index of all the paperwork, and my website has a list of pretty much every job I've ever done. So I could go back and refer to that a lot for dates and whatnot. But by and large, the book is about the crazy stories of things which went wrong. As I say at the beginning of the book, nobody wants to read a book where
Everything goes right.
you write the first treatment, everybody loves it. You do the shoot, everybody shows up on time, you finish early, and there are no changes when you deliver the first cut. I
Right.
mean, that's a pretty boring story. So I I guess I've centered mostly on things which went terribly wrong, or and done big chunks with artists who I've done multiple jobs for, and yeah, a sort of a peek behind the scenes. Unfortunately, at some point you have to dish some dirt, but I think I would hope that people would agree that the dirt I've dished was well deserved. Let's
Right.
put it that way.
Yeah. What would some stuff like that with artists who have mentioned working with you, but not really criticizing you in name, but just say Oasis, and I know they hated doing
Oh,
video.
they hated me.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
they did not like me at all. Mind you, I don't think they like anybody.
Right. That's true. Or
But
themselves. Yeah.
yeah, but no, they made it clear that I was not their best buddy, which is fine. That's
Right.
okay. There's no law which says I'm supposed to be, their new best friend.
Yeah. And you did a few video. What did it get better or worse? Five. Right. So did it get better or
Um,
worse as you kept working with them or no?
I would, I mean, it started out okay. and it just steadily got worse. I mean, the interesting thing was that when I got the first gig with them, uh, my client, Scott Spangic in New York, said, "You know what? You're English, so you'll understand what they have to say. We don't understand them." And
Right.
it's like they were talking a different language,
Yeah.
which is fine, but it's like um, I was born on the west side of Northern England. They were born on the east side. Sorry, the other way around. I was
Okay.
born on the east side in Yorkshire, and they're from Lancashire. So immediately, there's a thing called the Wars of the Roses, which you might have heard of.
Yes.
Um, and I was sent to a Ponzi boarding school by the Air Force, and they're working class lads, which I very much respect. And actually, their personal history I respect very much. But we were like chalk and cheese in terms of the way we did things and the way we'd been brought up. So yeah, I was certainly nervous about meeting them at the beginning, and my nerves proved to be correct. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you
Uh,
appreciate their music at least? Or just
Um,
their experience is kind of soured that?
I I appreciate their music more now than I did then. Certainly, the minute I heard Wonderwall, it was like, this is a classic. This
Yeah.
is great. This is fantastic. The thing that I once saw them in rehearsal, and I have never been to a rehearsal or a show where a guitar has been so loud. Noel's guitar was so loud that if he didn't hold his hand on it, it automatically fed back, and
Wow.
everybody was suffering from that. So, but I understand that just because you've got a guitar player in the band, it doesn't mean they're going to, he's going to be Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's a
Yeah.
different kind of music. So, yeah, I mean, on some level, it's actually quite useful to not be a complete Gaga fan for the band, because then you concentrate more on trying to find their magic.
Right.
If you just love everything they do because, oh my God, it's Oasis,
Yeah.
then you are not, then you're blinded by your fandom, really. And you're just concentrating on the fact that you're working with them and, oh my God, this is so fantastic and blah, blah, blah. And which is not a good place to be. You need to be critical in a good way by saying, if you did a bit more of this than whatever it was you did in the last take, I think we'll get something special. Of course, they didn't like being tutored, if
Of
you like,
course.
that. But I think that's a big part of the job is being, their acting teacher on the day and pointing them in a particular direction. That's what a director's supposed to do.
Yeah. It's in the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure they had plenty of yes men around. They just didn't need another one.
Oh no, I mean, there was at least one video where the manager was there, where something went down, which I'm not going to give away because it's in the book.
Right.
And I said, you need to help me out here. And the manager said, "There's nothing I can do. Go and ask Noel." So I mean, there was, uh, I think the people who were on the road with them is like, they're stroppy children. There's nothing you can tell them.
Yeah,
They're
right.
just going to be the way they are, which of course on some level is their beauty.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, I just saw them on their tour last summer. It was great. So I was fortunate. When I got the tickets, I was just hoping that they would still be together by the time the show rolled around. I'm sure everyone was
A reasonable hope.
yeah.
Yes.
It's like buying Morrissey tickets. You never know if he's going to cancel or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So was there ever an artist that you were completely like fanboying over that you kind of had to get over that before working with him?
Oh, there's plenty. I mean, I got to work with Paul McCartney,
Right.
um, which is in the book, because and the reason it's in the book is not because Paul was very nice, very decent. It's just the circumstances of the show were just a freaking nightmare. Um, but the thing you have to do is if I mean, I guess by the time I was at that point, I was no longer in my 30s. So I got to the point where I realized that I had to squash my fanboyness. So the thing I learned, I beg your pardon, with Paul and a bunch of other people is that if you go in there and you go, oh man, that song you wrote on the album, oh, it's so special, and gush, gush, gush.
Right.
They've heard that so many times before. If you really want to connect with them, while you're waiting for the set to be relit, the trick is you say, so how are your kids doing? What are your kids up to now?
Right.
And that, I don't think they're asked that very often. Oh, well, Stella's doing this and so-and-so's doing that. And, you know, I could give a damn about what the kids are doing, really. But you get this moment where they're just talking like
Yeah.
regular people. And of course, some people don't want to share that with you. It's like,
Right.
that's my private stuff. I'm not going to share that. So, and you're always in this very difficult situation where, you really only meet them on the day of the shoot, usually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they walk in, you shake hands, you offer them a cup of coffee, and you say, "All right, the camera's ready. I'm going to start shooting you in 10 minutes." There's not a sort of a slow, a process whereby
Right.
you can get to meet them and hang out or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I think maybe out of 450 some videos, I might have, had a pleasurable meal with them the day before, maybe 5 times.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's quick and nasty.
Yeah. Yeah. What's like the shortest amount of time you had to work with an artist for a shoot?
Um, well, I shot Rod Stewart. I had Rod Stewart for 5 hours to shoot an entire album,
Oh, wow.
every track on the album. Um, I shot a video for Elton John and I had him for 5 hours. I did a video for the Smithereens, which was for a movie which had Jean-Claude Van Damme in it, and I had
Okay.
him for 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, they say, right, on that particular occasion, they say Jean-Claude Van Damme is flying in from Australia. He'll land at the airport, will come straight to set. You'll have 45 minutes with him, and then he has to go off and do a bunch of press or whatever it was. So, I mean, you're on the set shooting the Smithereens, and somebody comes up to you and says, Jean-Claude has landed. He's in the limo. He's on the way here. He'll be here in 30 minutes.
Jeez.
So, yeah, it's like it's a military operation.
Wow. Yeah. No, I love that Smith the Reed. Yeah. Time let me go. Won't let me go. Those
Yeah,
songs.
very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. No, they're good. I would
yeah.
ask you about some artists that maybe, when you get interviewed, no one really asks you about. Material Issue. You did a song with them, Diane.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, which I love the
Diane,
band.
Diane,
Yeah,
Diane.
yeah. And they have a lot of songs that have like, female names in them. I interviewed the bassist Ted last year. Unfortunately, Jim, the lead singer,
Yeah, he
passed
committed
away. So it's
suicide. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, no, that was a fun shoot. God, nobody's ever asked me about that.
Oh, good.
Against a White Site. I liked that song a lot.
Yeah,
And I think we had a girl in who was a sort of, you know, we made her up to give
yeah.
her a 60s vibe.
Right.
Um, of course, I'm sure all of them were born way after the 60s.
Of course, yeah.
So whether anybody actually got that is another question. But yeah, they were cool. They were very nice. Shot on SIR Stage 3, which no longer exists, is now a shiny office building in Hollywood. But I shot a shitload of videos on that stage. So yeah, that was when it was pretty much at its height, I
Right.
would say, the whole video thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you prefer like shooting like, in a studio as opposed to say like, outside or like with Britney Spears, in a school or something like that?
Um, well, the beauty about shooting in a stage is that you don't have to worry about the weather,
Right.
quite obviously. The bad thing about shooting on a stage, especially with the finance situation that we mostly had, is that, and Diane is a good
Yeah.
example, is that it's a white box. There's nothing in there. So
Yeah.
anything in there you have to bring in. Whereas if you shoot on location, I mean, you're quoting the Britney video, the first Britney video. I don't think we added a single prop to that
Okay.
location apart from the clock, maybe.
Right.
Maybe the clock at the very beginning. I think that was probably the only thing we added because it's a school.
Yeah, it's got everything there
Um,
already.
the only difficult part from that perspective about that particular video was finding a school which had lockers in it.
Okay.
I went to one school and the lockers had all been welded shut so that kids would not bring guns to school.
Okay.
I'll, I won't say anything further for
Yeah.
fear of upsetting people.
Right. No, it's a sad reality. You have to live with that, unfortunately. Yeah. When that was her first album, so she was 16 at the time. Have you even heard of her before you got that job?
No, nobody had. No, she was, I mean, she arrived on set and there were, a bunch of other dancers and whatnot. And apart from myself, my producer, and the wardrobe person and the choreographer, she was just another one of the young people who'd walked through the door in the morning.
Yeah.
So what I did not know, because I was born and brought up in a different part of the world, is that she'd spent 5 or 6 years, on
Right.
doing the Disney business, whatever that show was called, the Mickey
Yeah.
Mouse
Mickey
Club.
Mouse Club. Yeah.
So she was very well prepared. Um, I remember going, "Wow, this girl's amazing. She's, no fear in front of the
Yeah.
camera. Whatever you asked her to do, she did it." And I was very impressed. And then, of course, subsequently, what is the Mickey Mouse Club? Oh, she was there with Justin and
Yep.
the other girls and whatnot. So, of course, she'd had 4 or 5 years of training, um, and it showed.
Yeah. Yeah. What was she like a couple years later when he did like Oops, I Did It Again?
She was always lovely.
Okay.
She was great. Um, very hardworking, very enthusiastic. Um, never if you said, well, look, I think we need one more, there was never an like, oh, I don't know if I want
Yeah.
to do it. She was always like, yeah, I mean, very often it was her telling me, I want to do another one. I
Right.
think I could do it better. I mean, by the time we did Oops, I Did It Again, she was, I guess, 18 and starting to be a bit more headstrong. But I think I don't have kids, but I think if I had a daughter between 16 and 18, I would have noticed exactly the same thing.
Yep.
If you've got somebody who's 18 and they're not starting to get headstrong and doing stuff their own way, then they're not a real teenager.
Yeah. I have a 16-year-old and she's started much earlier than that.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go. You know better than me.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Is it helpful when an artist comes in with an idea for a video?
Oh, it's very, I find it very helpful for a number of reasons. I mean, the first is, like I said earlier, you've not spent time hanging out with them, so you just see them very briefly. And I beg your pardon, if they say, I mean, as she said to me when we did Oops, I Did It Again, I had a very brief conversation with her. I want to be on Mars. I want to be in a red suit, and I want there to be a handsome spaceman, but I don't want there to be a rocket.
Okay.
And you're like, great,
Mm.
okay. Because of course, I mean, I've done over, like I said, I've done over 450 videos, which means I've probably written at least 2,000 treatments.
Right.
So when you sit down, you've got a blank piece of paper, it's like, oh my God, well, I mean, there's nothing in the lyrics of Oops, I Did It Again, which suggests it should be on
Yeah.
a planet. So if for some reason it did say a planet or space, you might go, okay, I'm on Pluto or Venus.
Yeah.
So to have somebody say Mars is great. You just not you cross all the other ones out. Great. Okay, we're all in
Yeah.
agreement. There's no discussion about, well, why I think, I think Alpha Centauri or whatever would be a better place. And you
Right.
start getting, I mean, so it's like, okay, we're on the red planet.
Boom. Yeah.
Great. So that makes it much, much more, it eases the
Yeah.
process because you're both on the same page when you start throwing out ideas. When you start getting into a place of, well, why are we shooting in France when I think Belgium would be a better feel?
Yeah.
You're getting into real detail and that's when it starts getting really difficult.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of the work is you'll have the artist for one day in New York in December, and they'll be staying at whatever hotel downtown, and they don't like getting up early in the morning. It's like, oh my God, all right, so I've got to find a studio downtown in Manhattan, basically.
Yeah.
It starts narrowing the options,
Exactly.
but at least, yeah, like I say, if you've just got a blank piece of paper, I mean, I've had to write a treatment without even hearing the music,
Oh wow.
which is ridiculous,
Yeah.
really. And of course you're pitching along with 20 or 30 or even 50 other people. So yeah, I mean you in a situation where on some level you're designed to fail,
Yeah.
but you accept it and you write an idea and you send it out and keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah. What song, after listening to it, kind of like clicked with you and the treatment just like came right out of you?
Um, I did a video for Stained,
Okay.
and I'm trying to remember the name of the song now. Um, I was doing a video for somebody else, and anyway, I get the song,
Outside.
and and it was like I'd finished. I was shooting that day, so I got home at 10 o'clock, and I'm like, oh my God, I've got to write a treatment now. I'm so exhausted, and I've got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go back. And I just put the music in on tape or a CD or whatever it was at the time, and it just clicked with something with me as a kid being in a car with my parents and them bitching at me because my grades were low and all the
Right.
rest of it. So and for some reason, that idea just popped into my head. So that was the idea I put in the video. And they said, great, love it. And it's one of my favorite videos, actually, because I feel, well, certainly it registered with me. Whether it registered with other kids is another question, but that's where the idea came. It came from a very personal part of my life.
Right. Like the gratification you get, do you want to get it from the audience or from the artist slash record company?
Oh, you want to get it from everybody.
Right. Yeah. No,
I
obviously.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, I love it. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
You're such a genius.
Right.
Of course you want to hear that. Um, on some level, you can't go to that point because when you get it wrong, that'll be twice as painful.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I've felt physically ill when I've had that phone call from the label saying, this isn't working for us.
Okay.
You've just spent $300,000 of somebody else's money and they don't like it. I mean, literally, I felt ill. My
Yeah.
stomach has
Uh,
contracted. The real bonus is when somebody contacts you 6 months later and they say, and this has happened to me a number of times, you changed my life.
oh wow.
You know, um, I was, I had a parent who was abusive and I saw your video and I knew I just had to get out. And you go, oh my God. I mean, there's no endorsement better than that.
Right.
Some person somewhere in the world, it's affected their lives positively in an extraordinary way. Um, and yeah, I mean, and you can't sit down and write an idea on a piece of paper going, I know I'm going to touch a nerve with 10% of the teenage population.
Yeah.
I mean, you're kidding yourself if you think you can do that. But I've had that a number of times where somebody's come up to me and said, can I have a word for a minute and shared a story. And I've walked away in tears. Oh
Do you
my
remember?
God.
You remember the videos they were talking about?
Um, the first Nickelback video I did had that effect on somebody. Um, uh, yeah, I mean, so a couple of people
Yeah.
for Britney's video.
Right.
Um, uh, what's another one? Um, yeah, no, I mean, I can't think of all right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I try not to, this is the thing which is really difficult, is that you have to keep your feet on the ground. If you start getting into a area of don't you know who I think I am because I've worked with all these people, then you've wandered into very dangerous territory.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's a battle I have with my own psyche, I suppose, is to, you work with Paul McCartney, really? Who
Yeah.
gives a shit?
Right. Yeah.
So get in line, pal.
Exactly. It's still going to be
So
$5 or whatever
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Don't you know who I think I am?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that I think is for me personally, that's just something I have to take care of. Otherwise, I'll go off into Never Never Land, and it's a very dangerous place to be.
Right. Yeah. I know when you're about to make a video, you really don't go out to, change the world or make it a better place. But one of the songs you did, Do They Know It's Christmas? You actually, you know, helped do that. I mean, the video, it's basic, but it's so powerful and amazing with just all the artists there. And how long was that shoot? And just was it easy just kind of wrangle in everyone?
Um, I was pulled into my boss's office on the Wednesday, and Bob was there. I'd already done two jobs with Bob, and they said, "You're going to shoot this video on Sunday, and we need it finished by Tuesday, and it's going to be on the television on Thursday night." So I had 7 days, basically. I mean, I was not involved in the planning of getting people to show up. That was totally Bob's
Right.
area. So I'd never shot anything documentary style, but at that point, it was very, very early in my career, in my music video
Yeah.
career. So I just had to stand there and I had three cameras and a bunch of film. And if it moved, we shot it. It was that simple. Bob was doing all the wrangling. And so we finished at 11 o'clock on Sunday night. We took the dailies to the lab. The following morning, the dailies showed up. We started transferring the film during the day. We edited it all through the night, and I finished it at 8 o'clock on the Tuesday morning.
Wow.
So from everybody arriving at 11 o'clock on Sunday, the video was complete and it remains untouched
Oh, wow.
on Tuesday morning. And this wasn't in an era where, you take the card out of the camera and slot it into the edit bay and you could
Exactly.
start editing it right away. You had to process the film, put it through the telecine session,
Yeah.
then pull it up and then look at it for the first time,
Right.
edit it as you were seeing it for the first time. So, but that was the power of that moment. And I've spoken to Bob occasionally since. He's still incredibly passionate about it. The Band Aid Trust has never had an office. It's never had a phone number.
Oh,
They've always they've always basically done a sort of a cowboy process where they walk in somebody's office. Can I use your phone for a minute?
right.
You know, yeah, it's Bob Geldof calling for President Mubarak.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I mean, I've seen stuff on the web where people say, yeah, I mean, there was one article in Daily Variety which said it was a coked up, day of pop stars all doing cocaine. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
I was in that room all day long from the first, I was there before anybody arrived and I was there when people had left. And the only thing they were asking for was fish and chips. I mean, maybe there was something going on in the men's toilet that I don't know about, but everybody was focused totally on doing the right thing. And it was a great demonstration to me of, when you become Boy George or Sting or whatever, you do have the power if you choose to use it for good.
Right.
You know, it's not all about, you know, buying Maseratis and hanging out with supermodels. That can be a part of it, but
Yeah.
you can choose your power for good. And it was a great example to me of a bunch of people really wanting to do something for good. And I've heard some stories subsequently from both Midge and Bob of things that they've seen when they've been back to Africa, and it's extraordinary. My dad, who was an Air Force officer and rather cynical about rock and roll and the music business, sent me an article in his very right-wing newspaper 20 years later with a very lovely note. And the article said that this area of Africa, which had been full of starving people, was now producing so much corn that
Right.
it was exporting the corn to Europe.
Oh, wow.
And from that, I mean, I took it that my father was very proud of what we'd done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whether that was directly related to Band-Aid, who knows? But the point is that you, uh, if you're a Geldof or whoever, you do have the ability to tap the needle and the butterfly effect, and you can change things in the world.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely, shed a light on the crisis.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing I've read this week of Dave Davies from the Kinks and Moby going at it about,
Yeah.
Moby heard Lola for the first time. God knows where he's been hiding
I
for the
know,
last
right?
40 years, but he suddenly heard Lola for the first time and is shocked, my dear, shocked about the fact that, transgender, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, as Dave Davies said in an article I read this morning, he said, I've been told by a number of people that it actually helped them through their own personal identity crisis. So yeah, we have this ability to affect people's lives, and I'm very aware of it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel now the purpose of the music video is different from when like you first started?
Oh, totally. Well, the thing that's different now, of course, is YouTube.
Right.
So if you have one of these, which of course everybody does,
Yeah.
um, I say to people now when they say, can you make us a video? And it's got to go across the world and spread our message and, blah, blah, blah. And I say, look, there's no guarantee that any video I make for you will get you more views than a video you make using this in your bedroom while you sit on the edge of the bed in your PJs doing a not very good acoustic version of this song you've just spent 5 months perfecting in the studio.
Right.
There's no way of knowing. Um, the beauty of it is that your daughter, who's, in her teens, if she's got a guitar, could sit on the edge of the bed, write a song, perform herself doing it on video, and tomorrow morning you can watch it in Japan
Yep.
and Australia, and it may go around the world. That's that's the beauty of the world that we live in. The other less fabulous beauty is that she might get 20,000 views and it disappears with all the other
Yeah.
millions of kids who are making stuff. The great thing about the videos that we made back in the day when labels were king and MTV was at its height was that if you were an artist like Britney, on a Friday afternoon or a Thursday afternoon, she doesn't mean anything. And by the following Monday morning, she can't walk into 7-Eleven to buy an ice cream without being mobbed.
Yeah.
That's the difference in the world. So I leave you all to discuss the merits of those two different versions.
Right.
If you're an artist, a credible artist who's writing decent music and performing well, it's actually probably tougher to break through than ever, even though you have YouTube and
Yeah.
Instagram and all the rest of it, because there's so many other kids out there doing
Exactly.
exactly the same. So you have to wait for that viral moment where suddenly, there's a picture of Beyonce climbing in her car and it's, oh my God, she's singing my song. You know,
Yeah.
that's how you break through now. Whereas before you'd have a label saying, we don't want you to appear on this program, but we do want you to appear on this program. That will get you through to your audience quicker, and you should be interviewed by this paper and not this magazine or whatever.
Right.
They would negotiate you through some of the hurdles.
Yeah. Yeah. Like back then, there was a show called Friday Night Videos that
Oh
was
yeah.
on NBC, that people who didn't have cable yet could watch that. And, that was appointment television for people, my age who didn't have cable, just an hour just watching, the videos. And it was great, you know.
Yeah, well, when I grew up, we had Top of the Pops,
Right.
which was played at 7:25 every Thursday night, all the way through the year for 40 years. And that was essential viewing for
Yeah.
anybody who's into music, whether you lived in the north of Scotland or the south of England. And being on Top of the Pops was your breakthrough moment.
Right. Yeah.
It's essential viewing.
Yeah.
So,
It was American Bandstand also
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yeah, we had that. That really doesn't exist anymore.
No, no, definitely not. Yeah. My all-time favorite artist is Tears for Fears. And I know you've done, 5 videos with them. The first one was not I believe, I'm sorry, Mother's Talk, right? That
Yeah.
was the first one. There was a version of it that was made before that they didn't like, and then they had you do 2 more, right? For that song?
Well, I think
There's
there's
3
three
total,
versions.
right? Yeah.
I've never watched the third one. Um, I was the commissioner. I
Okay.
was the person at the record label who was okay. You need to make a video. Why don't you talk to this guy?
Yeah.
So I introduced them to somebody that I knew. They liked him. We made the video, and they hated it. And I thought, and I just started working for the label, that particular label at that point. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to get fired now. We've just spent all this money and they don't like it. And my boss, a wonderful gentleman called Tony Powell, said, well, what are we going to do? And I said, I don't know. Screw it up. And I'd just done a video for um, Julian Cope. Julian Cope had no money, and he says we got £4,000. So I made a video for Julian Cope, who's also managed by the same manager
Okay.
as Tears for Fears. So they'd seen the video, and they said, "Well, we've got 5,000 quid left. Can you make us a video like the one you did for Julian?" And I'm like, "You want me to do it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just the guy at the label. Yeah, we want you to do it." So we went and shot this video very cheaply, and they liked it. So whew, I've got past, I've managed to get past that one. And the next single was Shout, and they said, "Yeah, we'd like you to do it," and which caused a lot of upset in the business in London because everybody said that guy at
Yeah.
Phonogram is giving the videos to himself, bastard.
Right. Yeah.
We're not getting a look in, and it wasn't like that at all. I was like, oh my God, I'm shooting a video with a real budget for a
Yeah.
real artist, which, yeah, ah, I mean, I didn't train. I never went to film school.
Yeah.
So it was, and that was Shout.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was luck, a great
Right.
amount of luck. I
Yeah.
just happened to be in the right place at the right time, doing the wrong things.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Failing
yeah.
upwards, I guess, right?
Sorry.
Failing upwards, right?
Yeah, yeah, failing upwards. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Where was Shout filmed?
It's shot at a place called Durdle Door, Durdle, Door, I think it's spelt Dor, which is on the southern coast of England,
Okay.
in Dorset. And uh, Roland said, "Oh, that's where I want to shoot the video." I mean, he basically, it's a bit like, "Oops, I did it again."
Yeah. Had an idea.
Here's the concept, just
Right.
shoot it. So, which makes it very easy for me because it's not like they're going, why are we wandering up and down the sand? There's no toilets,
Yeah.
there's no catering truck,
Right. Yeah.
what's going on? They were completely into it. So then all you got to do is to get it on film. And then the other part was shot in a studio in London, and the genesis for that was give it the same vibe as "All You Need Is Love" by the
Okay.
Beatles.
Okay.
So, and Roland made me put myself in the video.
Yeah. I saw you in there.
I said, "I can't do that." He says, "No,
Right.
you have to be in the video, man."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Okay, I'll put myself in, but I will make sure I'm clapping out of time." So that was the deal.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like an Easter egg in there for like a couple
yeah,
seconds.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Were those all extras behind them
I'm
or?
all like they're all like friends of.
Okay.
I think Manny the drummer. I think his
Yeah.
kids are in there.
Manilows.
My godson is in there.
Okay.
Some people I used to work with at a label are in there. Um, yeah, I mean, it's like, can you come down to a studio and be in a music video and sing the same song over and over again? And by the way, you'll
Yeah.
get no money.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. You get paid in the memories, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was working for the label, so I didn't make any money making the video. I was just getting my wage.
Right.
So I didn't get, but I ripped a shirt making it. I can't remember how, but so I put £20 on expenses for a new shirt.
Was it the same thing for Everybody Wants to Rule the World?
Everybody Wants to Rule the World was a bit different, because well, we came up with a bunch of ideas, um, that I can't remember if Roland or Kurt had any ideas. I felt it was a great piece of driving music.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I pitched the idea of shooting it in the States.
Okay.
And Roland said, "Well, I'm not going to America." I can't remember why, but he just said, "Well, I'm not going."
Right.
So it's like, all right, okay, so we'll have Kurt in America. And the studio footage, the performance footage, is
Yeah.
shot in exactly the same place, in exactly the same room as the crowd stuff in
Shout.
Shout,
Okay.
just dressed differently.
Yeah.
6 months or 3 months later. Um, so I went to LA and drove around in circles for 4 days scouting locations and uh, did not get all the locations into the shoot. A bunch of things went wrong, of course, as they always do,
Yep.
and nobody's ever noticed.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was meant to tell a story, and the story was never completed.
Uh,
So
yeah. Have you ever thought about like kind of pulling like a George Lucas and going back to one of your videos and like kind of changing it? Or is that at that point it's the property of like the record company?
yeah, you don't get that chance.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, if I wanted to really bang my head against a wall, I suppose I could ring up somebody up and try and find the dailies. I mean, the other thing is that nobody knows where all the rushes, the dailies are.
Right.
Nobody
Yeah.
has any clue.
Yeah.
So, like Oasis were doing a documentary a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was ever released,
It
actually.
was. Yeah.
It was. I've never
Yeah.
seen, and they kept ringing me up. They'd get some PA to ring me up. Can you please send us all the outtakes from Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger? And I'd stop, 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 stop. I don't have them. Yes, but you're the director, so
Yeah.
we'd like you to send us all the dailies.
Right.
And can you point out which parts you used? It's like you don't get it. It doesn't
Yeah.
work like that. Very simply, what would happen is you'd shoot the video, you'd submit the cut, yes, we like it, then you'd finish it off, you'd send, and they wouldn't pay you the second half of the money until you sent them all the footage
Okay.
and the editing stuff and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And then it would disappear. And I literally have had people ring me up at this desk and say, hi, I work for this label or that label. We're releasing a compilation of, the best videos, blah,
Yeah.
blah. In fact, it happened with Guns N' Roses a few years back. And we don't have a copy of the fifth video you did for them. Do you have a copy? And I said, well, maybe I do.
Yeah.
Back then I would keep a safety copy of everything.
Okay.
So sometimes the label are ringing me up because they can't find
Fine.
their
Yeah.
master copy,
Okay.
which is, ridiculous, really.
Yeah.
But
All
yeah.
right. Yeah. That's good security, I guess, for you.
Well, the story when these people from Oasis kept ringing me over and over again, eventually I said, have you ever seen Raiders of the Lost Ark? And
Yeah.
the guy goes, yes. I said, well, what do you remember the final scene where
Yep.
there's that guy
It's in a
pushing the
warehouse somewhere.
with the ark into a massive
Yep.
warehouse where it's obviously just going to disappear? I
Yeah.
said, that's where all my dailies are.
Good
Find
luck.
that warehouse.
Yeah.
And, it's like that thing that happened 2 or 3 years ago in LA where um, Universal lost a whole
Yeah.
bunch of
That's right.
master tapes. Um, it's like, why didn't you guys copy all that
Yeah.
stuff? Have it in two different places,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know? I mean, that's
Shame.
filmmaking 101
Yeah,
nowadays.
exactly.
I
Backups,
mean, yeah,
safety and whatnot.
the the documentary I'm working on, I have a master drive. I have copies of
Yeah.
everything on that master drive here, and my client has copies of everything in Seattle,
Yeah.
just in case.
Right.
It'd be a lot of work to start cutting all over again, but you're
Yeah.
covered.
Yeah. That was what the story, I think it was Toy Story 2, that they were making the movie and they lost basically everything, but one of the editors backed everything up.
Wow.
And, the rest is history. Great animated movie. But yeah, so my all-time favorite song, not just by Tears for Fears, but in general, is Head Over Heels. Love the song, love the video. So that was all rolling. It's just, I want to be in a library with a chimp and a librarian.
Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah.
pretty much yeah, I want to be in a I'm the librarian. I mean, there's this cute girl who's the
Yeah.
librarian, and I show up with a pile of books,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, and you know the story, and then there's an animation, the four leaf clover, which
The
goes
transition.
into
Yeah.
the transition, and which I'm afraid I didn't like the animation, the four wheel
Okay.
clover
Yeah.
animation, but I'd never commissioned or asked anybody to create animation before, and it was
Mm.
like, yeah, it looks great. Yeah,
Right.
okay, we'll use that then.
Yeah.
We just spent, $10,000 making it, or however much it cost. I can't
Right. Yeah.
remember now. Um, and it was uh, a very, very stressful week because we shot that in Toronto.
Okay.
The video shot in Toronto, and in the evening they were playing gigs at the Massey Hall, and
Mm.
I was shooting those gigs for the long form.
Oh, okay.
So I was doing two jobs at once, and I was still at the record company, and Dex's Midnight Runners were shooting a video in New York, which I was supposed to be overseeing, and there was another video being shot in Turkey, in Istanbul, for a band we had on the label Vitamin Z.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm on, as well as producing and directing, I'm overseeing jobs in two other time zones.
Wow.
And that was pretty much the point when I'm like, okay, I can't keep doing
Yeah.
I've got to choose my train here. And obviously at that point, and actually somebody from America flew up to see me in Toronto and nailed me at lunchtime, and he said, I want to represent you.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Right.
I'd never thought. Yeah, he says, I'd like to get you jobs, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, fine. What do I do?
Right.
I was so naive about the process, but I was working my butt off. So I hadn't had the time to think about whether this was a career path or not.
Yeah. But then when you do that, you kind of like take the risk of working freelance where you might not get a job as opposed to getting having a job with a record label. Money might not be great, but it's steady money.
Yeah, that's the gamble, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Th-
that's definitely
yeah. I
that's
think you made the
definitely.
right choice though.
Oh, definitely. No, I don't have any regrets, but
Yeah.
it was a big leap, and at the same time, I was changing countries
Yeah.
as well. And they said we'll get you, we'll take you through the immigration process and all the rest of it. And I thought, well, I'll go to the States for 2 years so that people forget I used to work for a record company, and then I'll go back.
Yeah.
Of course, I never, I never moved back.
Right.
So.
Was it kind of like getting off the bus like Axel in the video for you?
Um, Not really. I
No.
mean, I'd been to LA a couple of times by
Okay.
that point.
Right.
So it was, I mean, MTV was really racing away at that point. So that I was focused more on trying to keep pace with the big names,
Yeah.
Mallet and Mulcahy and all that. So Julian Temple and whatnot. So, I mean, I never put myself in their
Yeah.
stratospheric level, but everybody was wanting to become a video director at that
Right.
point. So you had to step up.
Yeah. Was it like good to like have like just do one video with an artist to say you have worked with that artist just for like the resume? So like when you're kind of pitching yourself for another video, I worked with Madonna, or I worked with this artist and that artist.
Well, the person you were pitching to already knew. They
That's true.
already knew
Yeah.
whether you'd worked with somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, um, a bit like a train spotter. Do you know what a train spotter is?
No.
As kids in England, if you weren't locked in a boarding school like I was, you'd go down to the railway station on a Saturday with a little notebook, and you would keep the numbers of all the trains that went
Okay.
through the station. And oh, I've already got that one.
Right.
Wow, I've seen that
Yeah.
one twice. So hence the movie Train
Train
Spotting,
spotting.
which is
Yeah.
not about train spotting at
Yeah,
all,
exactly.
but it's about drugs, which is much more interesting. So you do, and being a total music fan like myself, you do get to a point where you go, I've done that artist, and I've done that one, and I've done that
Yeah.
one. Why haven't I done that one? So, but again, you start disappearing up your own butthole if you're not careful. So you just have to, I mean, I have done that in the past, and on some level, it's if you're a soccer player and you can say, yeah, I've played the game all over the
Yeah,
Premier League, and I played in
exactly.
Europe, and
Yeah,
I played against Zidane or whoever, whatever
right.
their names are. That becomes your justification for this crazy life
Yeah,
that you lead.
right.
Um, I can tell you how many countries I've worked in, how many countries I've visited, because on some level that justifies all the crap you had to go through.
Yeah, and imagine so. And just like all the genres of music, I'm sure there are ones that you just don't like that you've done videos for.
Well, it's music. Um, so I I'm I'll be honest, I'm quite proud of the fact that I've done metal, I've done pop,
Yeah,
you know. Um, so it's because my that's what my record collection is like.
yeah, it's good. Yeah,
I mean, I have Led Zeppelin in my record collection next to the Four Tops.
yeah,
So no, neither one is better than the other.
right.
They've both given me enormous amounts of joy over the years. I have classical music. I'm not a big jazz fan, I'll be
Okay,
honest. I'm not super
right.
about jazz, though I've now worked with quite a few jazz
Yeah,
artists. It's down to if you're an art critic, you can't just be into um, the Impressionists.
yeah,
You have to have an opinion about Picasso as well,
right.
or modern art or whatever
Yeah,
it is. So that's what you love. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's been an honor to work with all these extraordinary musicians in
yeah,
my career.
yeah. What was Barry Manilow like? And he did a cover of Rick Astley, "Never Gonna Give You Up."
Ask me another.
Okay, save that for the book, I guess, right?
He's not in the book.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
mean,
All right.
yeah,
We'll move on then.
Barry is Barry,
Yeah,
obviously, and on the day somebody came up and whispered in my ear and just said, who obviously knew Barry really
yeah.
well, just said, uh, "Make sure you get it on the first take,"
Oh boy. Okay.
and they were absolutely right.
Right. Okay. So I'm hoping you nailed it on the first take then.
Well, it just got worse and worse and
Oh boy.
worse. So, so,
Yeah.
which is fine. There are millions of people who love Barry
Yeah.
and show up to his shows, and he obviously, he's a great player and he's written some great songs, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Do I rush home to play the best of Barry Manilow? I
No.
have to confess that it's not number one on my turntable.
Right. Yeah. Is it helpful like when an artist is also an actor, like you did, like Jack Wagner, like Weatherman
Oh
says?
wow, there's a
Yeah. I'm sure you have never been asked about that one.
no, no,
Yeah.
never been asked about Jack Wagner.
Yeah.
Um, who I remember as being a very nice chap, actually.
Yeah.
God, that's a long time ago. Again, very early in my career. And the song was called Weatherman Says, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, I mean, it's a help because they understand hitting their mark. Where's my key light?
Yeah.
Okay, stuff
Right.
like that, technical stuff. Um, so yeah, I mean, no, I've worked with some Oscar winners in my time.
Yeah. Share. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, it just means that they're relaxed in front of the
Yeah.
camera. Like I was saying about Britney, it wasn't like, oh my
Right.
God.
Exactly.
It was
Yeah.
like, great, fine, I know what
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
So it's very useful when you have somebody who comes on who's never, ever had to mime and, do playback.
Yeah.
That's obviously a big bump for them to jump over.
Right.
And it's much easier if they've done it before.
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. What was Stuttering John like?
He was quite funny, actually. Well, here's the funny thing. I was changing production companies. I'd been fired by a production company which actually I co-owned.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh yeah, okay, fine. I've steered millions of dollars into these people's pockets and they're telling me to fuck off.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so then I go to this other company and they say, well, we've got a job for you, Nigel. And I'm, oh great, what is it? Who?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you're not going to get the job until you go to New York and meet Stuttering John. And it's like, okay, I've reached that point where I have to go.
Yeah.
And but to his credit, I mean, he managed to get Sting in his video.
Yep.
Gene Simmons was his Grandpa Al, whatever his name is. He managed to pull quite an impressive number of people into the video. And the funniest part about it was that when I first met him, he was obviously on the Howard Stern show, and I wound up having lunch with him and all the writers on the Howard Stern show.
Oh
So we're
wow.
all sitting down around this table in a,
Yeah.
you know, backstage from the Howard Stern show or whatever. I can't quite remember where it was. And it's like, this is the guy's going to make my video. And they're like, okay, very nice. And they're all chattering away, and somebody tells a joke and they all start laughing. And of course, me being completely stupid decides to tell them a joke.
Okay.
Oh, I've got a joke like that. And I start telling the joke. Well, of course, I'm sitting around the table with 5 or 6 joke writers, professional joke writers.
Right.
And they're all going, oh, that's interesting. He's gone from the blah, blah, blah to the blah, blah. He's missed out this bit. And I'm going,
Yeah.
why are you guys? Oh, of course, they're analyzing the joke as it goes along because they've written 25 jokes like this,
Right.
and this is what they do for a living. And of course, made a complete idiot of myself. But then you go, oh, so this is what being a professional joke writer
Yeah.
is like. And yeah, so that was an interesting look behind the scenes. And then Howard Stern critiqued the video over the air and didn't like it.
Right.
But I managed to go past that,
Yeah.
and I think I got the Oasis call soon after that.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like, thank you, Stuttering John. I've got some really difficult people to work with now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got the wannabe musician off the bucket list there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. I have to ask because it's my mom's favorite artist, Smokey Robinson. And he did,
Oh, Smokey.
yeah, Love Don't Give It No
No,
Reason.
he was lovely.
Yeah.
He's a lovely man. Uh, I do have a Smokey story, but I'm going to leave it for the book. You'll have
Okay.
to buy the book to read the Smokey story, which is eye-opening in a very positive way. And I was just very honored to get the gig.
Right.
Um, this is the guy who wrote and performed "Tears of a Clown," which is
Yeah.
one of my favorite all-time records.
Right. Yeah.
And that great
Yeah.
push through. I still can't figure it out. It's it's
Yeah.
just it rocks my boat. So yeah, I mean, when you get to work with somebody like that, that's when the fanboy comes out,
Right.
and you just want to grab them by the hand
Yeah.
and go, in the same way that, like we were talking earlier
Paul
about people
McCartney. Yeah.
saying, well, people say, you changed my life. I remember that was one of the
Well,
tunes which helped me through a very difficult part of my life. And you just want to
yeah.
grab his hand and just go, thank you, thank you, thank you. You have no idea how you
Yeah.
changed my life.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, Smokey, I've worked with Smokey. Have It's just all downhill after that.
Right. Yeah. He was my first free concerts. My mom directed me to see him. And
Oh,
I
wow.
loved his music, because listening to
Wow.
my mom, but yeah, the first free concerts with Smokey
Yeah.
Robinson. So
Yeah.
yeah. And he had like a kind of like a renaissance in the late 80s with that album.
Yeah. It was really interesting. And he was worked by that time. He was the MD at Motown.
Yeah.
So the first time I met him, he was behind a desk.
Right.
I went into his office and it was like meeting the CEO of a Fortune 500 company.
Right. Yeah.
So, and it's like, so you're going to get out from behind the desk and be Smokey again. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Which I'm sure he
Yeah.
loved doing, rather. I'm sure he liked a desk job.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I didn't I don't think I ever had a really long conversation with him, but no, I was happy to just be in the same room.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big Cowboy Junkies fan, and I know you
All right,
did. Yeah,
okay.
Angel Mine, video for them with the very young Janine Garofalo was in the video.
Janine was great.
Okay,
Cowboy Junkies, not so much.
really?
Are very difficult.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because I had Margot on a couple years ago, and she was really nice. But I guess it's different when you're doing a video.
Well, I will share one thing from the shoot was I walked onto the set on the morning of the shoot and there's two brothers in the band,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And I think it was the brother who's the bass player came up
Yeah.
and he said, "Are you the director?" And I
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, yeah, hi, I'm Nigel." He said, "We don't like directors." And I'm like, I've just, we haven't shot a frame yet.
Right.
Well, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
thanks for being. I mean, you're just like, why did you feel the
Yeah.
need to say that to me?
Right.
I mean, you've just seen me for the first
Yeah.
time. We've never spoken,
Yeah.
and you're already telling me that you hate me. And and you get over it. You say, okay,
Yeah.
fine, whatever, I'll make sure you don't get a close up now.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's other
Um,
people in the
and
band.
but you do your job and you say, I'm
Yeah.
going to bury this. I'm not going to let it affect my work. Um, but it's like, why did you feel the need to do
Right.
that? I'm here. I mean, that I've had this a bunch of times where the artist or the label has been incredibly negative. I mean, incredibly negative. And I just want to go, stop.
Yeah.
You're giving me all this money to spend in one day
Right.
to make you look
Look good.
better,
Yeah.
and you want to offend me
Right. Before we even start.
or ignore me.
Yeah.
I mean, which is fine. I'm a big boy. I can,
Yeah.
I don't, the world does not have to be my friend, but you don't even have to be nice to me. But I, today, I'm here to help you. I
Right.
mean, when you go into the barber and you sit down, you don't tell the barber to fuck off
Exactly.
because he
Especially when he
might
has scissors in his hand.
exactly. He might make you look like the Jim Carrey,
The bowl cut.
with the bowl cut. I
Exactly.
mean, just stifle your anger for 10 hours
Yeah.
and get
Wow.
over it. And I did the best I could. Janine was fantastic.
Right.
She was, I mean, how she has not become, you know, so much more successful, I don't
Yeah.
know. But I mean, she was perfect. I
Yeah.
remember, can you do this? Got it.
Right.
Every single take, bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam. So, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. That's a shame. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And Level 42, love them. Yeah. Leaving Me Now, which Mark did the clown magician,
right.
which I guess carried over into Something About You video. So that was kind of a theme.
I have not watched that video in 40 years.
Okay.
I I was really sick the day before,
Oh wow.
and I did not pull it off.
Okay.
I did not put. I'd seen the idea of the frame over somebody's face, a French
Yeah.
mime artist,
Right.
and I stole that idea. And um, yeah, I mean, it was. I knew the manager really well, and he gave me the job, which I'm very grateful for. And something about you,
Yeah.
which was the single before, is a fantastic record.
Right.
Um, it's got so much going on, it's a great song. Obviously they're extraordinary musicians and they have this sort of funk thing going on, but it just works as a great record. So I was like, oh wow, I'm doing level 42. And this is probably the seventh video I'd done or something like that. And I blew it,
Wow.
blew it. I I'm sure it's up on the web somewhere and
Yeah, it is.
I daren't go back there and look at it because it should have been so much better. They deserved so much better and I did not deliver. But that's how you learn to get better at what you do,
Right. That's true. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. You've done a lot of stuff with Toto and Steve Lukather.
I love
Yeah.
Toto.
Yeah. I just
Uh,
saw them in concert last summer. Yeah, great
no,
show. Yeah.
I've probably, I mean, I've worked with Lukather as well, solo stuff. I mean, I've
Yeah.
probably done maybe 40 different things with them over the years. Um, Extraordinarily lovely people, every
Yeah.
single one of them. Um, and of course, Lukather's played on 1,500 albums or
Yeah.
something. I mean, when I first met him, I said, I love the solo you did on this particular record. It's beautifully done. He says, I've never played with that person. I said, yes, you have. Here's the sleeve.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
like, oh, wow. No, I mean, that they were just, I mean, the thing that's interesting, that most of them were all sons of various people in the business in Hollywood. So they all sort of grew up around people who had extraordinary credits.
Yeah.
And so they're all very decent, down to earth people. Very sad about Mike Porcaro and
Yeah.
Jeff. I spoke to Jeff 2 hours before he died.
Oh, wow.
That story's in the book.
Okay.
And from day one, they were like the very first shoot I did for them. We spent 2 days down in by the docks in LA and stayed in a cheesy hotel around the corner. And that on the end of the first day, it's like, come and sit and have a chat with us.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, fuck off, you're the director, we're the band, we don't
Right.
like you kind of people. They're like, come and hang out. And I'm sitting there and they're talking about Michael Jackson albums and whatnot. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to take notes. So, I mean, yeah, but they were very generous, decent people and always have been. And I know they were never cool,
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah. No.
And I've shot them in Europe 3 times on the road.
Right.
And the last time I shot them, I was down I would do one major show with lots of cameras, and then I do lots of other shows to get bits of people in the
Yeah.
audience, whatnot. And you're shooting some girls down the front, Africa,
Yeah.
whatever it is. They
Yeah.
know the words of every Toto song, and you suddenly go, this girl's probably 16 or
Yeah.
17, and that record was a hit 45 years
Yeah.
ago, and they know every word of every song. And it's that's when you realize they never were cool. It's not like, whatever this week's big band is, or I think are called Geese, by the way. I just read about them this morning.
Right.
Um, and yeah, I mean, the music is just
Yeah. It's great.
complexity, and they can play anything.
Yeah.
They can play anything. So, and yet they're very happy to talk about, the process. So, yeah. No, I was so happy to get the chance to work with Toto, and my contemporaries are going, "You want to work with Toto?"
Right.
And they'd roll their eyes, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I do actually, I
Good.
do."
Good for you. Yeah.
And Lukather's solo on, oh, fuck, I can't remember the name of the song now. What I mean, he doesn't have to play fast to emote.
Yeah.
Extraordinary, extraordinary stuff. So God bless them. God bless the Totos of this
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. They're still going strong. I think they're on a tour again this year as well.
Oh yeah, they're on
Just
tour
keep going.
constantly
Yeah.
now.
Just keep
And
going.
and Lukather then goes on the road with Ringo.
Yeah. That's right. They all
I've seen
started.
that show a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. I'll ask you about one more artist, Bryan Adams. I know you did I Ready with him.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite videos actually.
Yeah, I love that video. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately the version on YouTube is pretty poor, but um well I'd been in London on another job years before, and they said, Bryan Adams needs a video. Can you go and meet with him? So, and they said this is where he lives. So I just caught a
Yeah.
cab round to his apartment
Yeah.
at the time, which looked over the Thames, as I recall, and he cooked me lunch.
Oh, wow.
He made me, what would you like? I'm making a blah, blah, blah. So he made me this lovely lunch, and we sat down at a table and talked, and I did not get that gig.
Okay.
It's like, oh, well, at least Brian Adams cooked me lunch.
Yeah.
That's something. And then I got this phone call, and I was in New Zealand at the time shooting The Cause. So I had to fly back to LA to drop off the film, go home, do my washing, go back to the airport, get on the plane and fly to London to shoot that video. And um, Michael Kamen, who's sadly no longer with us,
Yeah.
is in. And I used to play the violin when I was a kid.
Okay.
I was a violin player. So I love shooting violin players and string players because
Yeah.
it's so beautiful.
Right.
I have a cello right there. And so we got a bunch of string players in and shot it in the closed building of the local government in London. It was their offices, and for some reason they'd moved into somewhere else, and it was vacant. So yeah, it was a nice couple of days.
That's great. Yeah. I love him. I just saw him last winter and yeah, always puts on a great show. Yeah.
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 No, I mean, and great songwriter as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
um, yeah, and I've got a lot of time for somebody like Brian.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you've also directed movies as well.
yeah,
And yeah, you did one with Michael Madsen and Lisa Bonet, Dead Connections.
yeah. Horrible movie. Um, Michael was very nice. Lisa was
Lisa.
good.
Okay.
Lisa Bonet.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, making movies is tough, man.
Yeah.
I've done over 6 movies,
Right.
and most stressful period of my life making movies. Um, because there's so many layers involved, and just about every film that I've ever worked on, there's been somebody who, for some reason or another, has had it out for me.
Right.
And it's like, again, if please don't say nice, nasty things to me to my face in front of the crew.
Yeah.
Save it for when we finish shooting.
Exactly.
Because now I've got the whole thing of like the crew's going, well, the team's not to, suddenly you see the whole thing just falling apart
Yeah.
in front of you. And I'll be honest that I agreed to shoot some scripts, which I should not have done, which were just awful. Um, but, this is how we learn.
Right.
Um, I did one movie which I wrote myself and paid for myself, and it was the best movie making experience I ever had. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it released, but
Was that the callback?
yep.
Yeah.
Um, and that was, yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. We finished early every day. People in the crew brought in the meals. One day somebody said, I mean, there was never more than 7 or 8
Yeah.
people on set at any one time, apart from one scene where I had a whole bunch of extras in the background. And somebody said, well, can we stop at noon because my mum is bringing lunch today? And I'm like, what? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And the food was fantastic. And I'm like, if I ever make more movies, it has to be like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very, very stressful. And yeah, I mean, you read stories about people, working on a movie for 6 months, and I'd be like, oh my God, I want to kill
Yeah.
myself. Um, would I like to make a successful, fabulous movie with Tom Cruise or her? Of
Yeah.
course I would, but do I want the stress? No.
No. Yeah.
No, I mean, just,
Right.
I had one on that movie that you mentioned.
Yeah.
We're shooting in the middle of the night, and one of the producers comes up to me and says, I've spoken with the producer.
Right.
He doesn't like the way you shot the last scene. and it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, uh, okay, well, it's a bit late telling me now, seeing as we moved on. I
Yeah.
said, well, so why doesn't he come and tell me himself?
Exactly.
Well, he's at home in bed with his wife. And I'm like, so he's 20 miles away. I mean, this is before we could, watch it on ourselves.
Right.
So obviously you've told him that you don't like the way it's shot. And that stuff was going on every day. And it just, you know,
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't need people to be rubbing my back and praising me, but if somebody's digging the sand away from under my feet constantly, it does affect you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So when does the book come out again?
the book comes out on September the 15th. It's called Music Video Mischief.
Cool.
And it's on Trouser Press Books. Trouser Press, as we know, was the music paper from back in the day.
Right.
And so I'm very happy that it's on this imprint because I think they get it. And we've been through all the editing and blah, blah, blah. We're now down to me writing the acknowledgements at the end where you thank everybody
Right.
and picking which pictures will be in the bit in the
Yeah.
middle.
Right.
So
So I don't think you'll be thanking Noel, Liam, or the Cowboy Junkies then, all right?
Cowboy Chunkies don't get mentioned. Well, actually, they do get mentioned, but not by name,
Okay.
because there's a very interesting story that uh, with picking clothes for them,
Okay.
which is in the book. Because you sometimes you're just like these people have been so difficult. I'm just not going to mention them by name because
Yeah.
they don't
They don't
need me
deserve it.
to shit all over them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's got a whole bunch of, like I say, different stories. You'll get all the people you'd expect to get. You'll get Britney and Tears for
Yeah.
Fears, uh, Nickelback, who are always very good to me.
That's good.
Um, I've done more videos for them than anybody else actually in my career.
Yeah.
They're lovely people.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear.
Who else? Is in there? Celine, who's lovely.
Okay.
Ozzy is in there, of
Yeah.
course, who's so funny. God bless him.
Right. Yeah. Alice
Um,
Cooper.
Alice is in there. Uh, I don't think I've. I don't think Alice has his own chapter actually,
Okay.
because Alice is just wonderful.
Right. Yeah.
He's fucking lovely. I think the most professional artist I've ever worked with.
Oh, that's great.
I did 5 or 6 videos with him. They all went smooth as clockwork.
Yeah.
You ask Alice to do something and he'll do it. Or if he doesn't like it, he'll say, well, I won't do that, but I will do this. And you go, that's better.
Right. Oh, good.
That's why you're Alice.
Yeah.
No, total sweetheart, a lovely man. And when I, done a couple of jobs with him, I said to his longtime manager, Shep, I said, Alice is lovely. You need to put him on, Letterman or something. He's
Yeah.
not this bat
Yeah.
killing,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know, person. He's a lovely man. And Shep just looked at me and said, do you think I'm going to throw away 40 years of building him up to be this,
Yeah.
vicious child murderer and blow it all by showing what a nice guy he is by putting him on
Yeah.
Letterman? Of course, I'm not going to do that. And you
Right.
go, ah, yes, of
Makes
course,
sense.
that
Yeah.
makes sense. But no, he's a lovely, lovely guy with a wonderful smile.
Right. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
Nigel, this I could talk to you for hours. There's so much stuff I could have, touched base with you, but I appreciate your time. I'll have to have you on closer when the book comes out just to promote
thank
it
you.
and, talk more about it. But I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Pleasure. And thank you for asking me. And the book's out on September the 15th, and you can already order it on Amazon.
Yeah. That's great.
Some of the information that they've put up is not quite accurate, but we're changing that. So,
Okay. Oh, good. Are you going to do a audio version?
yeah, I've got that in line, um, but I think because I've done some voiceovers for this project that I'm working on at the moment.
Right.
Just getting a sentence out without making a mistake as a voiceover is actually quite difficult. So to
Do a whole
read
book.
300 pages, and
Yeah.
I mean, it would take months to get it right. And then as for editing it all together, even worse. But well, we'll see. We'll see. Unfortunately, I think AI has jumped in. You can actually get AI
Yeah,
to
I can
read
do.
it for you. You
Yeah.
just put the file in and wait 5 minutes, make a cup of tea, and there's 300 pages.
Right. Yeah.
So
All
we'll
right.
we'll see. We'll tackle that bridge when we get to it.
Okay. Well, yeah. One more quick question. Do you ever consider using AI for a music video?
Um, I have used AI on this project I'm using now, but I've used it as um, a holder in place for a section which I will then animate.
Oh, okay.
So um, because you put something in, and you go, oh my God, it took 5 minutes. This is, fantastic. And then you watch somebody walking in the background and they disappear. Or there was another shot I did where I needed three men standing on a quayside holding bags as if they were going off to the Klondike in the 1890s for the gold rush. And
Right.
it's, this shot is amazing. Oh, hold on, they've all got six fingers. So, but that's obviously going to improve.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I've seen something on the web now where you just send them your music and it spits out
Something. Yeah.
something back in I don't know how long, um, which is fine and it'll look lovely and it'll be totally and utterly emotionless.
Right. It's true.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, I saw somebody did something for a Pink Floyd track a while back and it was amazing, but it was also made no sense. There was no through line. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. But yeah. But once again, thank you so much for your time today. I
Pleasure.
really
Good
appreciate
luck.
it. All right. Thanks,
Thank
Nigel.
you. Okay. Cheerio.
And a special thanks to Nigel for joining me today. You can pre-order his book, music video Mischief, on Amazon. It comes out September 15th. You can check out his website, nigeldick.com. And if you have a guest session, hit me up on X, formerly Twitter, at the first Noel19. Be sure to like the page Living My Youth on Facebook and go to iTunes, check out all the past episodes we've had. While you're there, please rate and review the show. I would really appreciate it. Don't have iTunes? Not a problem. Shows on SoundCloud, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music. Basically, wherever you can find a podcast. New episode comes out next week. Stay safe, everybody. We'll see you then.